Hey everyone, you're listening to Adam Yurchick recording for TCGplayer.com. Today we're drafting Eternal Masters and I was super excited, so I hopped in the queue. I saw there were 7, so let's just get right into it. Our rare is Diminishing Returns. Not really the card I want to start out a draft with. Ashnod's Altar, great in a sacrifice deck. Flame Jab, that's great with Burning Vengeance. Phyrexian Gargantuan, 6 mana 4/4 that when it comes into play you draw 2 cards. That card really stands out to me. It's just pure value. It's big. It's good on all boards, whether it's attacking or blocking, and it generates pure value. So that's the kind of card I do want to start out a draft with. I don't know how I feel about black, but I'm definitely willing to try it out with Phyrexian Gargantuan. In red, we have Carbonize. That's just great removal. In blue, we have Silent Departure. In white, we have Squadron Hawk. That seems like a great way to start out a draft. And then we have Elvish Vanguard, which can definitely be great in an elf deck. But I'm just going to take the Gargantuan. I think it's the best card in the pack, and I'm going to go from there. So here we have some more black value in Sengir Autocrat. It's a 4-mana 2/2, but it also makes 3 0/1 creatures when it enters the battlefield, so they can be sacrificed for value. We also have Wake of Vultures as a nice black card that's a sacrifice outlet. And then something like Orcish Oriflame, that'd be great to pump the tokens from Sengir Autocrat. Then we also have Wake Dancer, which is great in a deck with sacrifice because it produces a 2/2. As far as other colors, Armadillo Cloak, that's just a nice strong card. Price of Progress, I'm not really interested in playing. Prodigal Sorcerer, Timmy, that card's awesome. Just pings, just decimates small creatures. That's actually a reasonable card to take, probably. Blue's a nice color. And then Coalition Honor Guard in white. I'm just going to take the Autocrat. So I took Aven Riftwatcher, and we're going to see if we can make that work. Here we have Mana War. That's great in a blue-black control deck. Wake Dancer in black. Innocent Blood, that's just removal in black. I think I'm going to pick up the Mana War because it's, I think, the best card. And maybe that Innocent Blood can come back and we could make more of a control deck. But I think blue-black control with a lot of creatures could work out. So we'll take Mana War. So on that plan, there's Phantom Monster, just a 4-mana 3/3 flyer. I think that's the way to go. As far as sacrifice, there's Carrion Feeder. That would have went well with Autocrat. And I could definitely keep that in mind, especially if it comes around. Llanowar Elves and Yavimaya Enchantress, 2 nice green cards. I'll take the Phantom Monster. Also, Lissalana Scarblade, so that's definitely some elves coming. And Scarblade is a pretty solid card. So we have the miniature version of Phyrexian Gargantuan and Phyrexian Rager, and then also another Mana War. I hate to say it, kind of just want to take the Mana War. I think that the tempo that it generates is usually better than the card of Rager, though you kind of have to build your deck for that to be true, like in a blue-white flyer deck. So I'm not actually sure. I feel like the Mana War is the higher quality card overall and that blue is better overall. So I'm just going to take that reluctantly. I think I would feel bad either way, and I think this way I think that the Mana War is better overall, so I'm just going to take that. It doesn't feel as bad. Whether that means it's right or not, I'm not sure. So here we have Hydroblast. That's a good blue card. And then in black we have Plague Witch, which is not bad. Also, I could look into other colors like white, blue-white flyers. We have Monk Idealist. That's more of a green-white card. Also Blossoming Sand. That's fixing. Plague Witch is a Reanimation Enabler. It's also removal. It's kind of like a Timmy. I guess I'll actually just take that. Here we have Pilgrim's Eye. That's good in any color deck. It's value. It's great in a control deck. We have Innocent Blood and we have Giant Tortoise. Kind of want to take Innocent Blood and build some sort of control deck with some more that come around. I don't know how good that is with my Mana Wars, however. Could also take Elite Vanguard, look at white. Don't think it's very good though, and white really hasn't come around. Could also take Trigon Predator and see what green has to offer me. It's not a crazy idea, but I think the Pilgrim's Eyes is overall the best card for me, so I'll take that. Milliken. This card's actually sweet. It's just 2 mana, mana acceleration, and then it mills you, which in theory is bad, but it could be good in a reanimation deck or a graveyard deck with Threshold, or even Burning Vengeance flashback or something. I'm just going to take that card. I just like it in general. Here we have Silent Departure. That could be great in a tempo deck. I think it's better than Humble, and White Mane Lion is a possibility. I do have Mana Wars. I have that even Rift Watcher, which I timed out and took. It would be good with the White Mane. It'd be good with Mana War. I mean, quite honestly, that might be the pick here. I think that white could be a way to go, but on the other hand, Silent Departure is just so reliable. I do have Bounce with Mana War, but I think Silent Departure still has a home in that sort of deck. Well, here's Coalition Honor Guard, so that card's crazy. Wake Dancer and Sengir Autocrat are a bit narrow. Coalition Honor Guard is just great. I think that maybe blue-white flyers is a good way to sort of salvage a draft. And black has not really even come around, so I don't know if I should even be in it. And there's that White Mane Lion, so I'll take that one. And Benevolent Bodyguard. There's Carrion Feeder, so some sort of black deck could happen. And then Windscarred Crag, just a white land. Monk Idealist could be useful. Seal of Strength. So I'm actually going to move this black to the board. This Phyrexian Gargantuan I'm abandoning. And I think we're going to take this in a blue-white direction. That Rift Watcher is going to make the cut. And we'll just go from here. Definitely some alternate picks I could have made knowing I would have end up in blue-white. If I end up in blue-white, I think that's the most likely thing though. So we're just going to go from here. So, Brago King. This is like a blue-white blink card. You can basically blink any number of my permanents every time this hits the opponent. It's also just a 4 mana 2/4 flyer, which for limited, that's about right on point to be playable. And with that ability, it's definitely a slam dunk. Alternatively, Honden of Seeing Winds, which is an insanely good card. You play it on 5 and then draw extra cards forever. That card's definitely good. There's also Elite Vanguard, which could be good with my aggressive Mana War plan. But I think that Brago is just too useful, and I mean too good with Mana War. I mean that alone. And I think that that's just definitely a sign to go into the blue-white direction. I think that Honden won't be as much of a fit for the deck I'm trying to put together with more synergy. I think I can push past that. Push past the extra cards by building a deck that generates value with synergy like Brago Mana War. So I will definitely be looking out for that. Like Welcome Guide, there's a card I can blink. There's another Gargantuan. The black cards are not bad with blinking. Gargantuan's a bit hard to splash, so I could be base black splashing white or blue to get Brago in there. Maybe blue, black, splashing white. Because Welkin Guide is not super impressive. I don't really want to take it second. But on the other hand, I don't really know if I should be in black at all. And Welkin Guide is it's pretty aggressive, and it's good with Coalition Honor Guard. It's a nice follow-up. I'll just take that. So here, I kind of have to decide where I'm going. We have Warden of Evos Isle, which makes flyers cheaper, and I definitely have some flying going on. And then I have Ballynock Cohort, which is a 3-mana 2/2 first strike, which is good, but if I have a white card, it becomes a 3/3, which is awesome. There's also a Memory Lapse. Seems like blue was flowing last pack, and there are a lot of flyers in blue-white. I think that I could take the Warden, focus on flyers, and then use my cards like Mana War as support. So I'm taking the Warden, and I'm going to go down the flying route, and maybe I can table Shelter or Memory Lapse. Here's a great flyer. Karmic Guide comes into play and reanimates something. Simple as that. That's just value. And when my creatures have value, like Mana War or even Rift Watcher, it's especially good. Even Pilgrim's Eye. White Mane Lion. I get to return White Mane Lion, return the Karmic Guide, and then recast it. There's also just Wall of Omens, which is awesome with blinking. It's great with Brago. It's a nice wall to protect me while my flyers are doing work. It's actually a pretty difficult pick. I'm really not sure where to go. They're both value. Karmic Guide can create nice tempo when it reanimates something. And Wall of Omens is just always good. Every time you just cast it, it's always good. I think I actually take Wall of Omens. It's just such a good card. But no, I'm taking Karmic Guide because it's so insane with Mana War. And my deck is aiming to be aggressive. I might pick up some 1-mana 2/1s or something. I think that actually the guide will be better. Here's Glimmerpoint Stag, so there's definitely an argument for having Wall of Omens when you have that in the deck, but definitely Stag is one of the best cards my deck can actually hope for, so I'm slamming that into my deck. There's Mistral Charger. Amazing, yet there's a Squadron Hawk. So now what do? Do I take the Hawk? Hope I get more? Or do I take the Charger, which is always a little bit better? I think I just take the Hawk. I believe that I could get more. I mean, for one, I might see more of this pack. Unlikely. But I could believe I could get a couple next pack. I don't know. I mean, the Charger attacks a little bit harder, but the upside of the Hawk is so much higher that I am just going to take the Hawk. Tranquil Cove. Definitely want that. And here's a White Mane Lion. I'll take that. Shoreline Ranger. Take that. You could take another Monk Idealist, but I'd rather take a Scoured Barrens. It's possible that black is on the table, I suppose. I think that blue-white's pretty well established, though. Even though I don't have a lot of blue, I expect to get more next pack. Carbonize, way too late in the pack. I could maybe even splash it because I have one source. And actually, Pilgrim's Eye, I could play a mountain and have 3. It's that or Shelter. Shelter is just so good, though, in general. It's one of the best tricks ever. Oh no, I'm just taking Carbonize. It's just way too good to be in the pack. It also hits the player. I'll just put that into my board. Maybe use it. And I'll take Blossoming Sands here. Elvish Vanguard, so it doesn't look like there's elf stacks going around. I'll take Borderland Marauder. Nature's Claim. It's a great sideboard card. I could definitely splash that if I want it. Stupefying Touch. I wanted to check this out earlier. Turns off activated abilities and then cycles. It's pretty good with an enchantment theme or cards like Monk Idealist that can get it back. Sphinx of the Steelwind. That's enormous. It's a blue-white flyer, and I could splash it off Scoured Barrens and Pilgrim's Eye, and it completely wrecks red and green decks. So I should consider taking that. Also, I think it's worth a few bucks. We also have a third white main line I don't need. Elite Vanguard, which doesn't really fit my blinking plan or flying plan. But it is a creature. And there's also Honden of Cleansing Fire, which is great. Even on its own, just 2 life a turn is not bad. Though my deck is trying to be aggressive, and I want to focus on creatures with Karmic Guide and Welkin Guide, so I really want to be playing a creature on 4, like Phantom Monster, which is just solid. I don't know if I should take the Sphinx or the Phantom. I have a lot of 4s. I'm just going to take the Sphinx, and maybe I can wreck with it. Another Mana War. Phyrexian Rager. If I'm thinking about splashing black, then maybe I want a Rager in there. Let me clean up the deck list. Idealist is out. Looks like the Squadron Hawk is going to be out, unfortunately. Definitely could use some playables. The Mana War is going to be the pick, because that's always, it's not always going to be good on 3. I think it always makes a cut. I could just decide to splash black, definitely, and take the Rager. Maybe Gargantuan could even make its way in. Against a control deck, it'd be pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to take the Rager. Maybe, it's also Gravedigger I could use. I'm going to take the Rager. Think about really splashing black here. Wow. War Priest of Thune. When it enters the battlefield, you destroy an enchantment. I can blink it, and there's lots of enchantments out there. I should definitely consider taking that. It's also a 2-drop, which is great with Mana War. I need to just have threats, but there's another Rager, which I'd like. But I think the War Priest is just too valuable. It's going to be too good too often. And my curve is a bit high. Wow, Thunderclap Wyvern. I didn't end up with a ton of flyers, but it's still great and even has flash. So I'll take that. It's also Scoured Barrens, which, assuming I want to play black, which I do, would actually be really useful. Maybe I should take that instead. I'm going to cut a white main lion and this Benevolent Bodyguard. I could use a few playables, but let's see how many flyers I have here. Welcome Guide, the Karmic Guide, the Brago, the Phantom Monster, Pilgrim's Eye, the Warden, the Rift Watcher, the Hawk. This is tough. I'm just going to take the Wyvern. Humble, not super useful here. Really none of these are great, but Twisted Abomination could help a splash, and it is honestly probably the most powerful card here, so I'll take that. Wow, Pacifism. Super late. Might be the best card in my deck. I will definitely take that. And also another Scoured Barrens, but I can't let the Pacifism go. Wow, Wall of Omens. That's Phyrexian Rager in white. I'm not going to let that get away. Mistral Charger, wow, scoop that up. So wish I would have taken that other one instead of Squadron Hawk. for sure. I regret that now. And looking back, maybe it was incorrect because the Mistral Charger will always make the cut, but this Hawk is actually not going to be good, but the Charger would have been one of the better cards in my deck. So that's unfortunate. I'll take the Honden against aggressive decks. The Gargantuan, which I first picked the draft with, looks like is not rated super highly. And then Elite Vanguard I don't think really works out for me. Honden in the board. I'll take Flame Jab is quite good. Could also take this Scarred Crag and help splash that Carbonize, but I think that red's off the table. I think that I'll take that though, just in case. Maybe I want to splash 2 colors, or maybe he has something I really want to kill. More green fixing for Nature's Claim. I think that that's probably the best thing for me. And then there's Scoured Barrens. Wow. Boom. That made my deck. That's so good. And I'll just take this Humble. Third Scoured Barrens. But Tranquil Cove is even better. That's so insane that these lands are coming so late. Milliken is out. I don't have any graveyard value and I don't need the Excel. We have 4 non-basics, so that leaves us with 21. So I will have to get one more card in here. So that Mistral Charger I passed. The Misclick, passing Prodigal Sorcerer for even Rift Watcher, or the Timeout rather, ended up being quite fine. So that was regrettable, but I had to fight through it. Alright, so here is the deck, how it looks. Only spells are Silent Departure and Passivism, and then my 2 Mana War effects for removal. Man, I wonder if I didn't just want that Mana War, number 3. I imagine just always having too many, but really, probably just having 3, I would always have 1, which is what I want. But I think Rager is going to be sweet here. It's great with Welcome Guide and Brago, or Karmic Guide and Brago. You could even Mana War it. So Whitemane and the Whitemane's not really a 2-drop. The Wall, the Priest, and the Mistral Charger are fine. Pretty robust amount of 3s and some 4s, 5s. The Shoreline Ranger is a flyer that I might cycle, and then the Sphinx as my end game off of 2 duels, a Swamp, and Pilgrim's Eye. I'd love to play Gargantuan, but that's not really realistic. I could play the Whitemane Lion to get more value from my cards. I have Wall, Pilgrim's Eye, Rager. I could bounce Riftwatcher, Karmic Guide. Could even bounce Glimmerpoint Stag to then blink their thing. I could bounce Coalition Honor Guard in response to them killing it. I think that the Whitemane Lion will come in handy. Probably more so than anything else. And also it's kind of like a spell. It's that or the Twisted Abomination. And I don't really want to spend time cycling, so I'll get the Whitemane in. There's also Benevolent Bodyguard. Which could be cool to protect something, but it's actually not horrible at all. I think that the white mane, though, actually has a similar effect. Doesn't keep tempo going, though, but it can counter removal, basically. And then you get a 2/2 instead of your creature. So it's actually somewhat comparable. Yeah, I'm going to run the white manes. And 1 swamp. And I have 4 non-basic planes, so I do not need so many. I could use more islands. Sweet. 10 white sources. 9 blue sources. And then 3 black. Alright, I think this has what it takes. So I'll submit that, and please join me for round 1. Thank you for watching.